Well, good morning, YouTube. We are testing out the GoPro mount to the helmet again. I'm not new to this, but it's been a long time since I've done it, and I started recording this way when we were on our trip to the Blue Ridge last year, and had some malfunctions on the mount, and this time I did things a little bit differently to try to secure the GoPro a little bit better. So when I have my trip coming up here to Montana, I don't lose footage the way I did last time. And there's a couple other things I'm going to try out as well. Maybe get an additional battery and stuff like that, just so that way I have plenty of juice for the ride. My first leg is going to be about 600 miles. So real quick, we're going to get on the bike and then I'll be right back. So yeah, I don't always wear a helmet, but say what you will about that, of course. But for the GoPro footage, I'm willing to do what it takes. And my trip up to Montana coming up, none of the states require a helmet, but I'm gonna bring mine along. As anyone who rides knows, it's always handy in the event of A, a crash, or B, weather. And who knows what kind of weather I'm gonna hit on my way out there. Today is Saturday. I don't know what the date is exactly. Where are we at? July 22nd. Great. Beautiful morning here in Wisconsin. Our departure date is the 27th on Thursday. So why am I going to Montana? Well, going to Montana because a good friend of mine lives out there. He's from this area, but he moved to Montana a long time ago. I was in the military, and nobody's really been out there to see him. Of course, his family has and all that, but as far as like our friend group, nobody's really gone out of their way to make the trek out there. So it's about 1,000 miles one way. And I got offered to do a couple trips out east this year, but I've been east so much. My wife is from Pennsylvania, so we go out there quite often, at least once a year. And we were just out there last month maybe. And so I had a couple requests. My brother asked me to come out, and he was heading out to Niagara. So yeah, my brother was heading out to Niagara Falls. We hadn't been up there on a motorcycle trip before, and he hadn't, so it was a good trip for him. And I've been to Gettysburg in Pennsylvania quite a few times, and that's always been a place that I've referenced to him about, hey man, maybe you should go check this out. And so that was a good opportunity for him as well. And he did that, but I wasn't really feeling it, just because, you know, I like to tour and all that, but you can only do I-80 out of Chicago so many times before you get a little worn out on that. This year presented a good opportunity to head out west. And the cool thing is not only do I get to see a good friend of mine who I don't see very often, but they just had a new baby, so I get to meet the new baby. Spent some time out there drinking beer, having a good time, but I'm gonna also catch Sturgis on the way back. Yeah, I'm really excited. Montana's gonna be a good trip. So this video will serve a few purposes. One, I just haven't done a video in this format in a while. I'm actually gonna take a ride out to Ukes Harley Davidson so you guys can see what the dealer looks like when there isn't 1,000 plus bikes out there. Next thing that I want to kind of talk on, as you guys at the very beginning of the video probably saw the tour pack laying on my garage floor. And the reason that is I noticed something that I didn't think was going to be a huge problem. Like I totally had no idea that this problem was even to come when I bought that tour pack. So during the 120th, the wife and I went up to all the dealerships, everything. Tour Pack did great. Nice backrest for her. She liked it. But one of the things I've noticed is that I don't particularly like. So when I throw weight on the back of this motorcycle, not necessarily my wife because she's sitting just above the axle, but anything that's kind of, you know, acting as a lever on the back of the motorcycle, i.e. the Tour Pack, I get a really bad handlebar shake at like 35 to 45 miles an hour. I thought it was a front end issue. I was like, fuck, I'm heading out to Montana, and I've got this, maybe I have a loose bearing, maybe I have a bad tire on the front. Had the tire inspected, that wasn't an issue. You know, I've rocked the shit out of these handlebars. There's no looseness to the front end. I don't feel it. Even like right now, I'm doing 42, 43 miles an hour. If I were to go one-handed with that Tour Pack on the back, without my wife, just the Tour Pack, I noticed like a really, really intense wobble in the front end of the motorcycle. So, of course, nobody wants a wobble in the front end of their motorcycle. We don't need the tank slapper or the death wobble that people always talk about. But yeah, so I'm noticing that lever action of that Tour Pack is causing that. I didn't really think that at first. I was like, well, that's the only thing I changed, so maybe there's something going on there. But at the same time, I really did think it was like a front tire issue. And so after I did a little bit of online exploring, I noticed that it was actually a pretty common issue among people with Tour Packs, which kind of blew my mind a little bit. And so if you Google it, like front end wobble and Harley Davidson with Tour Pack installed, something like that, you'll get a lot of hits. A lot of stuff will come back for that. And it's a common issue, surprisingly. So, you know, everybody's got their opinion on it. I'm sure there'll be opinions in the comments about what, yeah, maybe it's still a front end issue thing or whatever. But, you know, I talked to quite a few people, talked to some Harley people, talked to my brother about it. He's pretty sound in motorcycles and, you know, understands the checks and balances of things. And the other thing that he talked about that I really didn't even consider is the fact that with that Tour Pack, oh, this is nasty right here. Look at all this fucking, someone clean that shit up. And it is true, I noticed it while I was riding, but basically what I'm trying to say here is there was a ton of buffeting in the cockpit with the Tour Pack installed because there's not a big open space behind me, so there's not a place for that air to go. And so even when we were at the Harley 120th, my wife had to keep pulling my shirt down because that Tour Pack was causing all this draft inside of the cockpit, and my shirt would come flying up. God. And so I'm not necessarily afraid of the Tour Pack or to mount the Tour Pack or what have you, but with a 2,000 plus mile trip and not really having it on all of but like 200 miles, I'm going the tried and true method. So last year in Virginia, I ran the Edward Ritchie Sissy Bar, which was phenomenal. It's got a really hard mount. There's no giving it at all. It's solid to the bike. And then on top of that, Saddlemen makes some really, really great luggage options. And I bought one last year, and it was at the recommendation, for those of you who are at House of Harley for the 120th, Ian behind the counter, the dude knows his shit. When I was talking about storage options during my trip last year, he came back and was like, nah, man, this is what you want. Go with, you know, don't go with that Harley stuff. Go with a premium brand. And of course, I run a Saddlemen seat, and Saddlemen makes good stuff. And Saddlemen makes luggage, and so I bought a nice luggage bag, and it's got more storage than my Tour Pack does. It's like mostly waterproof, unless there's like an absolute torrential downpour. You're gonna get some things wet in that thing. But if it's just sprinkling or you know, just a consistent rain, you're probably okay. It's just the downpours that might affect things a little bit. So yeah, that's my shtick with the tour pack. I mean, you guys weigh in if you want, but I notice it mainly when the tour pack's on the bike and not any other time. And right now, you guys saw the sissy bars back there. Even with the sissy bar, there's a little bit of extra weight back there. You wouldn't think it would cause a huge change.
Spasm change? No, sorry, I don't have any change.
In the way the bike handles, I mean, the tour pack, sure, between the mount and the pack itself, it's like 40 pounds extra to the back of your bike, and it's levered over the axle, so it's really like pulling the front end of the bike up. So I wasn't expecting it to have as much of an effect as it did, but truly there was quite a bit there. It's also nice because it gives you, by default, it gives you a backrest. And because of the ergonomics of this motorcycle, it's improved a lot with the saddleman seat, and I put the floorboards on, which I like, believe it or not, it's just so much more comfortable. You would like, oh really, that little change makes that big of a difference? It does, really. But because of the nature of these bars and how I haven't had the risers swapped out for something taller, either because things are on back order, I don't have the time, and I don't want to drop it off. I'm still kind of in a lower back strain position, and so having that backrest and being able to lean up against it and just relieve all that pressure off my lower back on a long trip is phenomenal. And we'll just play it by ear. You know, what the fuck? Who cares? Like, this whole trip is kind of a what the fuck. You know, Adam Sandovill's whole shtick is like, get the fuck off the couch and go buy the damn bike. And I thought about it this year, like, I've got young kids and I hate leaving them. I'm really gonna be bummed that I'm gonna be away from them for a week. But as we all come to realize in our lives, and I started to really pick up on this probably as I was nearing my 30s, like, life is short as hell. My son, I still feel like, was just born yesterday, and he's 7. And it just goes faster as you get older. And I only have so many summers to ride, and that's the way I look at it. I only have so many summers to be out there on the open road, and it's something that I really like to do. And some people just can't stomach that. You know, they gotta prioritize all their work and stuff, and you know, I get that, but you know, what's 1 week out of the fucking year? 1 week to do something that you're really passionate about, and you can really clear your headspace to maybe come in, recharge. And like, I've got all these worries about when I leave, and stuff that I'm going to leave open at work, and things that are not going to be easy at home. My wife is going to be picking up where, you know, I'm not around to do my half. And I am fortunate in that I have her to support me and doing things that I really like to do, and of course that needs to be reciprocated. And I do the best that I can with her, so that way she has, you know, that time to herself as well. And so she knows that this is what I'm passionate about. I mean, she's more of a proponent. We've had conversations about selling the motorcycle and not even owning one, and she's the one who's like, there's no fucking way you're not gonna own a motorcycle. I can't even get rid of it if I wanted to, because she knows how important it is to me. And so sometimes I get in a weird headspace and I'm thinking, you know, well, maybe I should just get rid of the bike. You know, us guys, we are always thinking about toys and buying or selling or getting new or getting rid of. And you know, I do generally like live in that vein of I can't do without a bike, but I have had those conversations, and she's always been the one to like reel me back and be like, nope, you need a bike, you're not getting rid of it. And if you get rid of a bike, you're getting another bike. So I've got that support, and I'm grateful for that. So anyway, I'm gonna cut here. You can see ahead of us, I'm coming up to Highway 45 here, and you can see the hill out there. I want to say Ukes is about another 10 minutes down the road, so I'm gonna cut here and stop blabbing and just let you guys take in the scenery, and I'll catch up with you when we get to Ukes. Alright, so here we are coming up on the intersection just before Ukes. So if you've watched any of the videos from any of your other favorite YouTubers, this is the bridge right here. I think Adam Sandoval came from that direction. I think he was at the Best Western just down there. But this is the left turn they all came in on. So this is what it looks like when it's not fucking crazy. So let's go over here. Yep, this is where all the bikes were lined up, and they're not lined up now. So let's just pull in here, and all the, yeah, nice and quiet. So the way things look when there's not a rally. I'm not gonna stick around or anything, but yeah, you had all the tents over here. You can kind of see the outlines in the grass still. Yep, people working. Yeah, so this is just one of the many strips. Ukes is a great dealer. Yeah, you can see family owned since 1930. They've been here a long time. I bought my first bike here. I don't buy from them anymore too much. Service department is but they do a good job. So anyway, yeah, so this whole road was lined with bikes like all the way to that corner, as far as I know. People came in from that direction. That way is Milwaukee, this way is Kenosha. The town's just around the corner there. So nice and quiet here a week after the 120th. The way, well, we like it. So see you Ukes, nice and chill. Just so everybody knows, we'll come back this way. Everybody knows I do my business at House of Harley. Oh, that's ready. Woo! It's hard to find a dealer that you really jive with, and it does come down a lot to the employees. Ukes has good salesmen. I've got good deals there, but when it comes to the performance aspect of your Harley and maintenance, like, just always left a little bit to be desired. Yeah, so this road here, pretty sure they came up this way. I want to say they were at the Best Western up here. Maybe that Hampton over there, whatever the hell that is. We'll ride over there. Take this guy right here on the left. There's quite a few bikes in that parking lot when I came through here last. Yeah, somewhere in here, maybe. It might have been that one. A lot of people, I'm sure, ate at that Cracker Barrel. Yeah, so again, that's like these roads. I mean, I ride these roads all the time. Yeah, so just to see the amount of people and all the footage of all the people that were at all these restaurants and these places to stay was just surreal, honestly. It was just awesome. Like, hey, I know that place. And you want to like leave a comment on every video and be like, dude, I know, it's so cool, man. Fuck. Well, anyway, that's it for me, guys. It's a long ass video. Lowrider ST has the fluids changed and ready for Montana. And I'm gonna pull one out of the 2-lane life book and just say, I will see you down the road. Take it easy.